Hi, Sue Elson here. You're about to watch a recording of the LinkedIn for Business Coaches and Career Specialist event on Wednesday, the 6th of October 2021. Just like to remind you that if you find it of value, please consider writing a review. Links are below. Also, there's a special offer if you'd like to book a session with me before the 13th of October, where you get a copy of my 5th book, LinkedIn for Me and My Career or Business. And don't forget, you can also download my first 4 books for free at researchgate.net. I hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to look at the handouts also via the link below. Bye for now. Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name's Sue Elson to LinkedIn for Business Coaches and Career Specialists on Wednesday, the 6th of October 2021. Great to have you all here. I imagine there'll be a few people coming in a little bit later. And this is being recorded, so just so you know, whilst the screen share is on, your faces will not appear on this recording. When the screen share is off, then you will appear on the recording. I'd like to pay my respects to the elders of all the lands from which we meet, and I'd like to start off with a little video from LinkedIn that, you know, I think explains LinkedIn very well. So we'll just start with that.
Was passiert, wenn man völlig fremde Menschen auf der Straße zusammenbringt und sie dazu bringt, miteinander zu reden?
Wir haben noch eine einzige Frage an jeden hier. Was brauchst du?
Ja, also vielleicht ist das ja hier mal der richtige Ort, um das so zu versuchen.
Ich brauche jemanden, der mir hilft, mein Zeugnis zu übersetzen in Deutsch. Wir haben mit ein paar Kommilitonen ein Computerspiel programmiert, aber wir haben einfach keine Designer gefunden.
Was mir eigentlich wirklich fehlt, ist gerade ein Plan, was ich wirklich in meinem Leben machen möchte.
Ich habe halt die ganzen letzten 8 Wochen so viel gearbeitet, dass ich fast gar nicht zum Schlafen gekommen bin. Ich muss immer abrufbar sein und merke, dass mein Körper langsam aufgibt sozusagen.
Ich habe einen super Job, es läuft richtig gut, aber alle meine Freundinnen heiraten gerade und die kriegen alle Kinder und ich merke, dass ich mich gerade echt frage, ob ich einfach was ganz Wichtiges verpasst habe. Also vielleicht gibt es ja andere Frauen hier, denen es genauso geht, die auch keine Kinder haben oder und trotzdem vielleicht glücklich sind. Oder ich wünsche mir Frauen, mit denen ich mich mal darüber austauschen kann, ob es denen genauso geht.
Das, was ich gerade wirklich brauche, ist einfach nur eine Gehaltserhöhung. Also, vielleicht kann mir da irgendjemand helfen oder kennt jemanden, der jemanden kennt, der
Ja, also wenn du es nicht zu morgen brauchst,
Kannst du überlegen, ob du vielleicht zur Architektur switcht.
Mir hat Meditation sehr geholfen.
Wir suchen immer noch Leute für die Hotelfachmann-Ausbildung. Ich bin eher so der kreative Typ.
Ich bin Raphael. Moin. Gib mir mal deine Nummer.
Also wir suchen immer.
Meine Mutter ist Deutschlehrerin, die kann dir bestimmt helfen.
das Ergebnis? 3 Jobangebote, neue Kontakte, ehrlicher Austausch und eine ganz besondere Erkenntnis. Egal, was du brauchst, es gibt immer jemanden, der dich unterstützen kann. LinkedIn. Gemeinsam ist das neue Ich. Was brauchst du?
Yeah, and that's a really good video, I think, on just describing some of the different things that LinkedIn can do for you. So again, thank you for being here. I am trying to turn the dinging off. I can't find the button to do that. I haven't had that problem before. So apologies. Let's hope people arrive very, very soon and we can get into you know, the more formal part of the presentation. So Rob Chiaroli is monitoring the chat and he's going to be sharing a few links as I go through. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 items to have on your LinkedIn profile in 2021, the top 10 strategies for getting results for business coaches and career specialists, and the top 10 ways to manage your LinkedIn activity in 20 minutes per week. So yes, let's begin. Rob, as I said, managing the chat. The slides, a Word document and the video recording will be emailed to everybody who has registered from both Eventbrite and LinkedIn. I'm not going to be reading every single word on the slides because there's a lot of information there And I understand that there is a varied level of LinkedIn knowledge in the audience. So hopefully the information is simple enough to understand for those who are new to some aspects of LinkedIn, and also interesting enough for those people who are a little bit more advanced. And as I said before, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on the lands which we meet. My special gift for you today, I'm not going to wait till the end to give you the free gift, is access to my first 4 books. The first one on LinkedIn is very much a how-to. As you turn each page, you can do something else to your profile. 120 Ways to Attract the Right Career or Business is very much story driven, so particularly useful for people who want the jobs to come to them rather than to hunt them down. 120 Ways to Market Your Business Hyperlocally is case study driven with actual examples. And Gigsters is a book that I've shared widely with career specialists, gave it away as a free book at the Career Development Association of Australia conference to all participants in 2019. My goodness, that seems like such a long time ago. But you can download them for free at ResearchGate. And if you would be happy to write a review, I'd appreciate that. If you'd like to get the paid version, that's at 120ways.com. Also, I would love you to follow me on social media. That's free, no cost at all, and I'm always sharing information there. I have a LinkedIn profile, a LinkedIn company page, Facebook, which is back up again, thank goodness, Twitter, Instagram, which is mostly for my poems, and YouTube. I've only got 39 subscribers there, so I would love some more love in that department. Also, if you would like to book a session with me before the 13th of October, I'm going to include a digital copy of my 5th book, LinkedIn for Me and My Career or Business, which is designed to be a simplified version of the first book. The first one was very techie. This one is a lot more user-friendly. So you get a discount on the hour and the 2-hour consultation amount, and you also get the book. And then after the 13th of October, if somebody is referred to me, they receive the 2-hour session for $350 instead of $400. So let's get right into the top 10 items to have on your LinkedIn profile in 2021. So I'm going to run through these 10 things and then I'll show you them on the LinkedIn screen. So the first one is, and I know a lot of you will have already done this, but you must customize your LinkedIn URL, the link to your LinkedIn profile. And there's a link there that you can click on and it can change it for you. If your URL with just your name is not available, there are various other options. You can put a dash between your first and last name. You can also put a number afterwards. You can put your post-nominals, which is like your qualifications. You can put your pre-nominals if you're a doctor or Mr. or something like that. And you can also add your business name, which I don't recommend, but they're all options for you to customize your URL. What that does is it optimizes your name in Google search results. So it means that you're more likely to appear in those search results. And it also means that when you have your signature or your URL on your email signature, on your phone, on your website, on your emails, even on one of those old paper business cards, it looks a lot neater than the standard version that LinkedIn gives you. Also, now on your phone, you can add your name pronunciation. So where you go into your phone, the LinkedIn app, you'll be able to see it in there when you go in, and you just record it on your phone, and then people can understand how to pronounce your name. You can also add in your pronouns, she, he, they, and also you can choose one, alien from outer space, perhaps. I do not recommend using that particular section for a marketing message, because the whole reason it was put there was to help people who would like to be identified with a particular pronoun to be able to be referred by that pronoun. So I've chosen she, her on mine. The other exciting thing that you can now turn on is providing services. Now, this used to be a complicated process where you had to join a group and get permission and so on and so forth, but now it's available on that Open To button. And on the Open To Work category, you can add 5 different types of jobs that you're looking for, job titles. And in the Providing Services category, you can add 10. Now, it is limited to the choices that LinkedIn provides, but it's a great way for you to appear in more LinkedIn searches. The next item that I would recommend that you choose is to turn on creator mode. Now, I initially turned it on and then I turned it off and I've turned it back on again. So what this does is it changes your button on your LinkedIn profile from a connect button to a follow button. So just like on all the other social media, they want you to follow someone, LinkedIn is going down a similar path. But to give us a little bit of extra incentive to do it, they're adding in that you can choose some hashtags. So you can see here, you can add 5 hashtags. So I popped in mine in there. And now I get a lot more followers. You can still connect to people. It just means that they need to press the more button and then choose connect. So if you see a follow and you really want to connect with someone, you can still do it, but you just need to press more and then choose connect. Also, there is now a featured items section. Now that's a nice big panel on your profile, and you can see here that you can add in posts, articles, links, and media. So that's another great way to showcase your digital competency. So not just your literacy, which means you have a LinkedIn profile, but your competency, which shows that you can add some flair. Now, a lot of career providers and specialists and coaches and counsellors, career development practitioners, whatever you like to call yourselves, are recommending that you put in a video introduction in there, which I think is a great idea because a lot of job interviews now are obviously done by video. And if you can have one of those already on your LinkedIn profile, that can help people make that buying decision because they can watch your little show reel, to use a media term, yeah, it's already there, ready and waiting. You can also add 3 websites in the contact information section. Now, I'm a proud member of the Career Development Association since 2015, and you can see here I've added in the link to my profile page on the CDAA website. So you do need to copy and paste that link. Please never type in any links, but you can see here I've also got a name next to each of my links. And that's because when I added in those links, I chose other. So if you choose other, you too can label your links. So I put in my own website, my career link, profile link, as well as where you get my books. They're the 3 links I've chosen. And I've also mentioned that I'm based in Canterbury, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Now I know there's going to be people in the audience who say to me, but Sue, I can work from anywhere now. And yes, so can I. And that's why I'm running this today. But what it does is it identifies you on the map. So obviously the #1 criteria for all searches is location. So even though we can still serve clients and customers from wherever we like, it does help, attract the people who are closer to us. And I love looking after my clients who are in the local area. Shout out to everybody in the city of Boroondara because, yeah, it just makes life fabulous. We get to all know one another. We can all help one another. I love doing things locally. The next one is to get a copy of your data. Now, obviously, after Cambridge Analytica occurred with Facebook, and there was a great big data breach, and there's more and more data breaches occurring, from now on, basically, because cybersecurity and malware, ransomware, all these attacks, etc., there's a likelihood that you could lose your data. So I recommend that you do this at least every 6 months. And I was really surprised this year because I actually looked at those files that LinkedIn sent me. And one of them is a file called Inferences. And I was very excited because LinkedIn believes I'm born in 1975 instead of 1965. So that makes me 10 years younger than I really am. So I was excited to look at my Inferences file. So it could be a good idea for you to look at yours, but also to have a look at all of those connections you've got and perhaps match them up with your customer database and say, which of my customers and clients am I not connected to on LinkedIn, and build that list up as well. There's also something called feed preferences. So from now on, what you can do is you can make some choices about who to follow and what sorts of things you might be interested in. But also there's a section called newsletters. And newsletters are only a privilege, a bit like LinkedIn Live was a privilege. Newsletters are a privilege that have only been allocated to a few people. So I'd like you to watch that space, because some of you may be interested in writing newsletters on a regular basis, because I believe that everyone in your network is notified when you put out a newsletter. So that's a pretty powerful tool for reaching all of your connections. The last one that I believe you should absolutely do in 2021 is when you start writing a post, which is in the news feed, you've got these 4 choices of adding a photo, a video, a new event, which you can run on your own now instead of with a company, and you can write an article. But if you click in that box, you will get all these options. So you can also add a document. Now, this is a very powerful one. If you have a PowerPoint presentation that you have saved as a PDF, which you can do within PowerPoint, you don't need any extra program, what you can do is you can add a document, and those posts are doing particularly well. And you can do whatever you like on your PowerPoint presentation. You can have all sorts of calls to action. I like to make them fairly, either something I've already released or something that is really, really useful, because I'm one of those people who doesn't watch a lot of video. I can skip through something in text in sort of 5 seconds. Who wants to wait a minute and a half to watch a video? Not me. But there are people who do like videos. Now, if you do add a video, I recommend that you add your video to YouTube first. And the reason I recommend that is it's there forever. Whereas if you natively upload it into LinkedIn, it's only in the news feed for a short period of time. But if you upload it to YouTube first, you wait a little while, you will then be able to see the captions. You can edit those captions to make sure all the spelling is correct. They never spell Elson correctly. So I tidy up the captions, and then I can download the captions, and they're actually called subtitles on LinkedIn, on YouTube. And then what I can do when I come back to LinkedIn, I can upload my native video and I can upload my captions, because there are still a lot of people who do watch videos, and they watch videos with the sound off. So it's really helpful to be able to add those videos and the subtitles in together. You can also celebrate an occasion, find an expert, offer help. Now that's a really nice idea, particularly, if you want to help other Australians who are in lockdown at the moment. And another one that appears to be doing quite well is create a poll. I find them somewhat annoying, because I feel like I'm giving my life away, because I have to be declared and I have to, vote to see the result. I don't know. There's just something about polls I'm not real fact, I don't really like. I like people to be able to get exactly what they want when they want it, which is now. So yeah, I really love the add a document option. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what these look like on LinkedIn. So the first one that I mentioned, if we go right back to the beginning, was to edit your URL. So on your LinkedIn page, so if you go to your LinkedIn profile, whoops, I just got messages popping up here. Over here on the right, it says edit public profile and URL. So if you click that, over here on the right-hand side, you can see that there's a little pen. So originally it would have been Sue-Elson- and a whole bunch of numbers and letters. So if possible, get it to all one word. If that's not possible, put a dash. If you've got a really common name, like I said, it was Sue Smith, I could put Sue J. Smith and see if that was available, like my middle initial, and then be Sue J. Smith everywhere online. And then of course the other option is to put a number on the end. So whichever one works for you. But once you've edited that URL, what it does is, as I said before, optimizes your name in Google search results and looks a lot better if you have to produce it anywhere. Now, as you saw on my profile, I've got that little microphone there. So if I hit that, it will play and it will just say Sue Elson, independent LinkedIn specialist. And there's my little pronouns appearing there. Turning on open to work. So that's here. And you can see that I already have open to work there and providing services. So if I click on open to work, you can see I've got those 5 job titles in there. I choose not to have the green scarf around my face. I think it makes you look desperate. So I've just got the recruiters only option there. And then in the providing services, I've got the 10 categories of services there. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, you can actually ask people to write a review for you of your services. That is something new, which is different to recommendations. So just keep that in mind as well. Elizabeth saying, this is so practical, love it. Yes. Somebody else said, boycott the poll. Yes, I'll keep an eye on the chat here. Kelly's mentioned, best advice I've heard, read the YouTube captions. Woohoo! Yes, why buy an extra program when you can use what's already out there and for free? And Rob's managed to get rid of the chime. Thank you for that. And thank you, Helen, for providing the explanation on how to do that. Wow, this is really fantastic. I love seeing things in the chat. It's really hard, you know, in digital land to make things interactive, but I definitely want to be able to do that. And yeah, you know, add questions in the chat as we go through. I'm a parent, I can handle interruptions, and you know, really want to make this as interactive as possible. And yeah, again, thank you for joining us. It's really great to have you here. Okay, so the next thing was turn on creator mode. So that is back on your LinkedIn profile, and it's in your big dashboard box. So here you can see it says creator mode, and you just turn it on there. Then you can add those 5 little hashtags of topics that you talk about, and then you'll be recognized for that. There's a lot of people who have not turned it on yet, so that's going to be a, you know, big plus for you if you're able to turn it on. In the contact info section, you can add in the 3 websites. So I've just got the Zoom thing in the way here now, so I can't see my screen. So if I choose to edit that, you can just always make sure you choose other over here on the right-hand side. And then you've got 30 characters that you can use to describe what that link is. As I said before, please copy, paste your links. Don't just go in here and type www, because a lot of websites don't have www anymore. So always just go and visit the website in another tab, copy, paste in here, and save once you are finished. As I said before, also add in your address in here. Whatever you type in here will link to a map. So I don't obviously give out my home address, but that is, you know, where I'm located. And I do see clients here. So if a client's going to be seeing me, then obviously I do give out my address. Oh, got another quick question here. If you select the open to work button without the green mark on your photo, would you still let people or organisation know that you are looking for work? No, Natalia, but if that organisation has LinkedIn Recruiter and someone at your work has LinkedIn Recruiter, then they'll be able to see that you're open to work. So it's not a foolproof way to sort of, you know, secretly in disguise mention that you're looking for work. But I mean, it depends. You know, do you want to appear in search results? That's kind of important as well. There is a little way that I can get around it, is you don't mention those things, but if people do find your LinkedIn profile, you can include your contact information in the summary, which is what I've done here. I'll just quickly show you that. Go away, discard. Okay. So in my summary, it says contact and connections welcome, and there's my email address and my phone number. And on a mobile device, there'll be clickable links. But that basically says to a recruiter, you can contact me, or anybody else, of course. So what the full or partly green button means. So it is normally a full green button. So you can turn the setting on to say that you're open to work, but the full scarf appears if you say you want everybody to know. Yeah, and Natalia said, thanks for the clarification. Woohoo! Okay, so the next one is get a copy of your data. So from the Me menu, choose Settings and Privacy. And here it says get a copy of your data, and you choose the full data archive, request it, and type in your password and choose done. So as soon as you get your email, please click on the link and make sure that, yes, you've actually downloaded the files as soon as possible, because the link does expire. So you need to make sure of that. Oh, we've got another contribution here. Love contributions. Creator mode increases your reach by 15% if your content contains the hashtags you have highlighted on your profile. Research from Richard van der Blom. Wow, that sounds exciting. Well, this is good news. I'm learning something too today. So yes, when the social media platforms bring out new features, if you're using those new features, then you're obviously much more likely to benefit from that. So that's really fantastic. Okay, so the next one is to update your feed preferences. So that's on this one here, feed preferences, and it enables you to customize your feed, and it makes some lovely recommendations. And because there's been so much activity in the political world, there's all these politicians who were recommended to me when I looked this up and prepared the presentation. But the one I wanted you to look out for was that newsletters one, and for you to see which newsletters you are subscribed to. And yeah, away you go. And hopefully sometime soon, you too will be able to write newsletters. You can also see newsletters from your My Network button. So if you click My Network, you'll also see newsletters there. So watch out for that feature. So as I said, again, please put questions in the chats. You have lots of followers, connections is the way to contact them all at once. Sorry, Elizabeth, with a Merry Christmas. That would be sweet, wouldn't it? No. There used to be, when you used to get a copy of your data, you could download the first name, last name, email address, current job, and current company for all your connections. However, what happened is lots of people ended up getting spammed. So LinkedIn turned off the email address, and so now you can't do it. And for one of my book launches, I downloaded all my LinkedIn connections. This is before it turned itself off. And I emailed all those people, and then MailChimp, complained as well, because apparently a percentage of those people unsubscribed. I thought, I'm only announcing a free book launch. I'm not selling anyone anything. So it didn't really work. So we've basically got to do good old fashioned stuff. Benita, really valuable tips and tricks, Sue, my amazing mentor, tutor, coach, writing specialist. Woohoo! Benita and I have done 8 podcasts or webinars together. She's on the first Monday of the month. If you want to know all things health, nutrition, whatever, please join us. Email me if you'd like some details. Leonie's giving me a little clap. Nice to see you, Leonie, from Sydney. She does lovely things on mindfulness. She's also got a podcast, and I've been on her podcast. So yes, keep in mind those things. Can you do a download data for a business page? Lyndon, if you are the admin, it should be in the copy of your data. If it's not, we might have to investigate that one a little bit more. Yeah, I haven't actually looked into that carefully. But one thing I will say, Lyndon, for business pages is please make sure you have at least 3 admins on your business page, because if one person's sick, one person's away, you still need somebody to be able to access it. Just to clarify, can you still download all of your connections details? Ali, only their first name, last name, current job, current company, and date you connected. So you can still match that up with your own CRM and fill in all the details and manually collect everyone's information, but unfortunately it will not include their email address. Liz is loving it, woohoo! And yes, that is still helpful, because you can at least make sure that everybody you've invoiced, you have added to your LinkedIn network. And if you haven't done that up until now, please don't beat yourself up. Just from now on, make sure that you do. Can you add newsletter when you don't have any? No, Sandrine. Oh, you can subscribe to newsletters, but you can't write a newsletter yet. Hina said, can you change the name one's LinkedIn registration was originally done with? And I'm trying to figure out a way to change it so it's easier to find on Google. Yes, you can change your LinkedIn URL, provided nobody else is using that LinkedIn URL, and you can also change your name. So that's all good. And also, there's a setting in the settings which says, do you want to display your last name or not display it? So you might have turned that off. So I'll just put a little pause on the questions and get through the next lot of slides, because I do want to finish the content in 1 hour. But what I will definitely do is stay on after the hour and answer any questions for anybody who would like to stay a little bit longer. But let's get back to the content. Okay, so this is the top 10 strategies for you to get results for, as business coaches and career specialists. Now, please keep in mind that you may already know of these, but the question I'd ask is, are you doing them? That's the big question. So let's see, track and achieve your target statistics. So before I work with any of my clients, I always write down these statistics, because that way they can look in a week or a month or a year, whatever, and see how their statistics have changed. So I've provided the link to each of these, and it will be in the Word document, so you can copy, paste and reuse this information however you like. And you need to have a minimum of 60, 500 over time, and a maximum of 30,000. Followers is unlimited, and if you can get more than your connections, woohoo, that makes you a thought leader. The number of people you are following can also be recorded. So that includes the people you're connected to, the people you choose to follow, and the company and schools that you choose to follow as well. How many profile views should you be having per 90 days? At least 100. And then you'll know that your LinkedIn profile is working for you. This is my favorite activity, is to check out who's looked at me. So if I see any of you look at me in the next few days, I'll be excited. You'll be borrowing ideas off my profile, and I'll be happy because I'm an educator at heart. And I also see this as my service to the industry. Probably can't get to Sydney for the conference next year, so this is my contribution before the conference. Search results in 7 days. You would want to get at least 50 appearances in search results in 7 days. An all-star profile simply means you've filled in more, or most of the important boxes in your LinkedIn profile. Your featured skills and endorsements. So for the top 3 skills you've listed on your profile, try and get at least 20 votes. Oh, the conference, Ian, I'm talking about is the Career Development Association of Australia. And yes, you'll be getting the recording, the slides, and the Word document. Felicity, yes, Felicity, put the link in if you'd like, so that people can check out the conference as well. The number of recommendations, at least 6 received and 6 given. And if you are going to post on LinkedIn, I'd recommend once a week or at least once a month. And if you're going to write articles, if you want to be active on LinkedIn, I'd say once a month. And if not so much, then 3 per year. So that's stats. The next one is to update your LinkedIn profile. How many people's plumbing looks like the plumbers? Can we invite our clients to update their LinkedIn profiles if we have not updated ours? It's really important that our standard of LinkedIn profile is as good, if not better, than our clients. So please make sure you update your LinkedIn profile. I've written some particular articles that are of interest around this topic, your keywords. I have been on the internet on a live website since 2001. So now that's over 20 years. And one of my favorite clients is on the call, Doug Weller. Hello, Doug. He was one of the first websites I built in Dreamweaver, and we've upgraded and done all sorts of things ever since. But keywords is essential. Doug will not be found. None of you will be found unless you mention your keywords. And you need to mention the keywords that your ideal clients would be typing in to find you. There is a headline formula I recommend, which is your label. Now, I do know that you should label jars, not people, but if you meet me at a networking event and I try and list all the things I do, we could be there for 10 minutes just talking about that. So my label is Independent LinkedIn Specialist. I still do lots of other things, but that means that people remember me for my LinkedIn specialty. The second part is keywords, and the third part is something about you. And I've chosen to put on that I'm a dancer, and I look like a very bad version of the worst TikTok video you've ever seen, dancing, but I just want people to know I'm still active and out there. And as I said, LinkedIn thinks I'm 10 years younger anyway. Achievements. It's very difficult for some people to write about their achievements, particularly if they are a typical Australian. They can find that a little bit of a challenge. So I've given you some suggestions there. And I recently did a presentation for Camberwell Girls Grammar. Hi, Doug. I see your little thumbs up there. I wrote this piece for women, and then I realised, hang on a minute, these tips are for everyone. So feel free to check out that particular piece as well. Now, it probably is obvious that you should connect with people. And I recommend that from now on, whenever you're out and about, bring out your phone and press in this search box of the LinkedIn app, and you will see there's some little dots. And in the little dots, it will open up something we've all become very familiar with in the last 2 years, a QR code. So you can connect with people immediately using your phone when you meet them in person. And I would encourage you from now on, everyone you meet, you connect with them on LinkedIn. People's emails change, people's phone numbers change, but most people only have one LinkedIn account. And this builds your network and saves, means you can still find people afterwards, makes life a heck of a lot easier. So feel free to do that, particularly all your clients. As soon as they book an appointment, I connect with them on LinkedIn. There's lots of other people you can connect with. I also went through the Career Development Association of Australia content, and I looked at who engaged with the CDAA posts, and I sent invitations to my member colleagues that way. You can obviously also look at the CDAA website and see all the other practitioners and, make it your mission to connect with, 4 or 5 CDAA members a week. Why not? Because we can all share our tips. And at the end of the day, the more people who know about career development, perhaps the more people will end up in careers that are matched with their skills. And likewise for business coaches, to actually get people to be aligned with people who are aligned with them. I asked why you would connect with all of your clients. Well, Carolyn, I want them to remember me. And I'm hoping that if they liked my service, they might refer people to me in the future. And if I pop up in their news feed every so often, then they will remember the experience. Now, they might say, oh, I didn't really enjoy it. Then they can disconnect. It's no problem there. But at least I've got a way of them remembering me in the future and perhaps giving me referrals. And Anna kindly gave me a referral this week, and I worked with that client yesterday. He was really lovely. So next one for business coaches and career specialists is your strategy for content, basically. So I like to encourage you to be not a personal fitness trainer, but a personal encourager. We all like it when our favourite auntie or favourite uncle says to us, gee, you're doing a good job, or gee, well done, or something like that. So when we like or comment or share other people's content, then they think, wow, wasn't that nice that that person did that for us? Now, you don't hijack the content and, sort of usurp whatever else the person said, but I've had a number of my competitors engage with my content and I engage with theirs, and provided we all add value and are respectful for one another, it's really good for the LinkedIn algorithm. It's actually called the engagement ratio. So if you were only ever shouting, as in putting your content out, your content would not go very far. The algorithm wants to know that you listen as well as talk. So whenever you engage, that shows that you are listening. And as I said, if you did nothing else but like people's stuff, you probably get a lot more business, because people think, oh, I only got 2 likes, but one of them was Sue. Oh, that makes Sue a nice person. So, start doing it. It's an easy thing to do. Obviously, if the content is linking somewhere, I always check the link first and make sure it's not something inappropriate, but definitely encourage you to do that. And I'll talk more about that in your 20 minutes a week strategy later. There are multiple ways to make your posts in the news feed go viral, and there are ways to make your articles appear in Google search results. Just Google LinkedIn for authors or tough love unemployed, and you'll see some of my articles appear #1, page 1 of Google search results. Also, if you Google LinkedIn specialist anywhere in Australia, I'm on the first page of Google search results, which is kind of exciting. And on some pages, I'm there twice, once for my LinkedIn profile and once for my sueelson.com website, because I've been publishing content on the topic of LinkedIn for a very long time, and Google knows that, and Google knows that people read my content as well. If you would like to be an active participant on LinkedIn, I would suggest you would engage with content 5 times a week. So, 5 posts, curate or create a post. So curate means that you find something fabulous and then you decide you're going to add that to the newsfeed because it's terrific and on topic for you and your clients, or you create your own post. So I don't suggest 6 times a day as one session I went to. By the way, I go to between 1 and 4 events per week to keep myself up to date. So I've just really narrowed down the stuff that's most useful for you. So you only need to post on LinkedIn once a week, not multiple times a week. And if you create an article once a month, that's enough to keep the LinkedIn gods happy. And if you just want to maintain your profile, then what you can do is you can engage 5 times a month, post once a month, and do an article once every 3 or 4 months. And that's, again, enough to let the LinkedIn gods know that you're still alive. Oh, we've got somebody who wants to network in the chat there. So if you would like to network with the other participants, you can save the chat before you leave by clicking the 3 dots. So if you would like to copy and paste your LinkedIn URL in there, then you can obviously share with others as well. Do you get penalised by the algorithm if you post more than recommended? I don't believe you would get penalised as such, Andrea, but it's not likely to go as far. And what I have noticed is if I post, say, at 9 o'clock in the morning and then post something else in the afternoon, my afternoon post cannibalizes my morning post. So that's why I'm very reluctant to do 2 posts a day, because I figure, why put all that hard work into one and then get it killed off later in the afternoon. So yeah, as I said, please feel free, copy paste your LinkedIn URLs if you would like to network with other people and connect. All good. The next one is to support your employer or your own enterprise. Now, obviously, many of us do side gigs or part-time gigs or even full-time gigs for organisations. I teach at the Centre for Adult Education here in Melbourne. They give me leads and I sure as heck like their posts. Why wouldn't I? They give me work, although I haven't had any work since May, thanks to lockdown. But, I love supporting my employer. So please, wherever you can, think about how you can support your employer, your clients, whoever it is who helps you earn a living. Use their hashtags, mention those people so they can be notified if you have mentioned them. Respond to all comments promptly if you're one of the admins for the company page. Update your own LinkedIn profile with the details of that employer. So even if it's only a part-time gig, you might like to suggest that you work there and add that to your LinkedIn profile. Visit the company page that they have and the post cadence. Oh yes, I'll come back to that. Visit the company page and engage with that. Or if you're the admin, there's a little button you can press which says notify employees. And then follow any social media policy. So in terms of posting, I recommend once a week or at most once a day. So yeah, that's the posting rhythm. Because if you publish in the morning and then you publish later that afternoon, I've observed at the moment that your previous post gets killed off. It does still linger, but not as much. So yeah, one of my best posts ever, I posted between Christmas and New Year on the 28th of December. So obviously not much content was being added at that time. That particular post got 52,000 views. So if any of you want some links to some example posts, please just email me, sueelson at sueelson.com, and I'll flick you some examples and you can sort of practice from that. Deirdre's got another commitment. Don't worry, you'll get the recording. Oh, yes. Oh, Susan, nice to see you too. Seeing lots of people I recognised here, which is fantastic. Okay. Now, do you have a LinkedIn strategy? Unbelievable how many people just wake up and think, what will I do today on LinkedIn? That's not a strategy. And you must not just to go out and connect with people who would be your target clients and then say, by the way, I can help you with X. Not a good look. You really need to understand exactly who you are reaching. And one of the things you can do is something I call a Google Advanced Search. So up until September last year, I was still using the free LinkedIn account, not the premium. Now I've got the most basic premium version, the jobs and careers one, so that I can see the last 90 days of people who've looked at me. But with a Google Advanced Search, I can search as long as I like. So I put my keywords in the top box, and then I say the site is linkedin.com, and I can find heaps and heaps of people there. Right, I'm missing a couple of questions here. Oh my gosh, you said my name right. Oh, thank you, Deirdre. What do you think about connecting with all the people who are trying to get us to sign up for their training program or course, create your 7-figure coaching business? Oh no. Okay, I'd probably give those a miss. Anybody who's trying to sell me something, you know, I might give them a chance and allow them to connect with me, but as soon as they start pitching at me, I remove the connection because I don't want those messages, you know, messing with my life. What's your view on personal versus business posts? Personal posts will go further, but you still need to have business posts because people will check out your business profile. And if you don't have anything there, you're going to look like a Luddite. I have noticed that business posts the reach is improving, particularly if it's good quality content. Is LinkedIn becoming a Facebook? Well, I believe that Facebook is designed to be social and LinkedIn is designed to be professional. And I have noticed the professional standard lower a little, and I try and keep mine at the higher standard. So it's becoming a bit like Facebook in the fact that there's more people there and they're interacting more frequently and they're sharing personal stories. And I will make a comment on that a little bit later because I believe, well, my motto is to be friendly and professional, but not personal. So I remember watching a video on LinkedIn, and this girl said she'd broken up with her boyfriend on the weekend and gave us all the gory details and about what she was going to do next with her life. And she was a business coach. And from that point on, I thought she has lost all credibility with me. This is not the place to tell that story. That is a conversation you can have in person, not online. So please don't adopt a Facebook attitude to LinkedIn. That's not going to look good. Interested in the guidance or description somewhere of categories of LinkedIn posts, including which might be best for Unity students. I start my posts off with capital letters and I call it a topic. And I would love to see topics be introduced on LinkedIn. However, the only thing we've really got at the moment that can help us be found is hashtags. So for now, you're just going to have to use hashtags. And in terms of what might be best for uni students, I would suggest you do a competitor analysis and find out what similar universities are doing in Australia and overseas and borrow a few ideas because, you know, see what works well for them and see how that goes. I actually tell people that I'm removing them because they pitch me, good on you, Robert, call out the bad behaviour. I used to do that. I used to send people, this is not the way to do it. And I used to send them this link. This is how to generate lead sales and results on LinkedIn. And then they just go, you know, snotty and complain that I'd reported them. And yeah, it was just a disaster. Develop your company strategy, the best way to maximize your company page, even if you're a company of one. So I know there are some LinkedIn trainers who suggest that if you're the only person in your business, you should not have a company page. Well, folks, I've managed to get over 400 followers to my company page. And if you get over 300 followers, you can actually target special audiences. What I also love about my company page is everybody can see all my posts in the one spot. So I put my poems in there as well. I don't put my poems in the main newsfeed because I don't figure people really want to see poems in the main news feed. But if they want to know more about me, it's definitely relevant. So that content is very suitable for my company page. There are tips on how to maximize your company page. LinkedIn has produced a company pages best practice link, and there's also page strategies that are suitable for schools, colleges, universities. So that one might be good for you, Julian. I've also got a page on my Sue Elson website that is all for schools. So if you'd like that link, let me know and I'll shoot that through. So make the most of your professional memberships. So if you are a professional member of anybody, and I always recommend that you be a member of at least one professional association, either in Australia or overseas, and, you know, engage with them. Don't just pay your $300 a year and disappear. See what they do, go to their events, follow their company page, attend the professional development, add it as a course that you've completed, connect with other professional members via the membership website page, posts or comments, and add the professional membership details in your contact info as you saw I did before. You can also add it in licenses and certifications. Anything you're a professional member of, you can add it in there. Please check my LinkedIn profile. You'll see I've added in my working with children and police check cards, you know, all sorts of things in there. Organizations, if you can also add it in that section. You can add it in experience or voluntary or both if you have a committee position and you might have won an honour and award, you can add that as well. You might have even been in their newsletter, you can add that as a publication. So there's many, many ways you can showcase your professional membership, and it means that when people look at your LinkedIn profile, there's a lot more credibility there. Getting lots of links. Yes, Pam, yes, company page and personal, yes. I'm education and training, maybe how to secure Google business. Oh, that's a long story. And I'm actually thinking of running another webinar. So if there are any topics you would like me to talk about in my next webinar, which I plan to do possibly within the next month, please let me know. But I am a Google tart, I call myself, because I'm a Google local guide and I've got to Google my business, I've got a Google author page. And these are all really important to get my Google search results. So if you'd like me to talk about that one next time around, pop it in the chat. It's annoying when people connect and pitch without getting to know me or my needs. Yes, Toby, couldn't agree more. And you know what's even more annoying? When they didn't even look at your profile first and they ask you some stupid question that you've already answered on your LinkedIn profile. So that's really annoying. Birgit, yes, you can pay for LinkedIn Premium, but only if you do every single thing I suggest here first. Because if you don't have your keywords and you're not active on LinkedIn, it won't matter if you've paid for premium because you're not going to be found. So you need to be found first and then use LinkedIn Premium to do the next level activities. Oh, we got someone in Japan. Thank you for joining us. Cool profiling tool we created. Not sure what that's for. Is that for Dean, is that for creating information for your profile? Just let me know. I left Facebook and hesitant to join this network because I do not want to have another Facebook account. Ah, yes, detrimental to your brand. Yep, absolutely. The new review sections on personal profiles. Karen, I don't know yet whether those reviews on your service page are working. I haven't got any feedback. It's a fairly new feature. I've only asked one person to write a review and it never happened. So not sure how it's going to take off. I still believe Google reviews are really, really valuable. Company pages are great for freelancers and consultants. Absolutely agree. Don't see how we connect with all these links. As one Zoom is over, we cannot access the chat. Rick, don't worry. You'll be getting the slides. You'll be getting the Word document. You can click to your heart's content. And you can also copy, paste and go elsewhere. Just keep an eye on the time. 8 minutes to go. My goodness. I better stick to the slides. I'll come back to these questions, but let me assure you, I will get back to all of them. Now, many of you came to this event as a result of it being on LinkedIn, and I definitely encourage you to invite people in your network to attend, and you can actually sort by industry and location. And I believe you have about 1,250 invites. And if people accept your invitation, then you get more people you can invite to your event. Now, the reason I got nearly 700 people on LinkedIn to this event was when you posted in the event, you could notify everybody who had already registered. So that's how I've ended up with this, you know, magnificent number of people who've registered for this event. However, they've turned that function off. So now if I want to message people, I've got to email them, and I can only email people, most of them, about the actual event. So not sure how good it's going to be in the longer term, but Vanita and I are having a fabulous time attracting people, because we also promote events on Eventbrite, and she's been getting lots of registrations via Eventbrite, because obviously all the events we used to have are not happening so much anymore. So just keep that in mind. I do encourage you, once you've finished the event or as you're seeing people come through, that you connect with all of those attendees, and you can also invite those attendees to follow your company page, look at your event guest list and the LinkedIn profiles, and make sure if you've got a speaker, you're connected to them, and then they're listed and accepted their speaking spot on the LinkedIn page. And then there's another article there for that as well. The top 10 strategies, decide on the actions and then set time limits. Whoops, sorry, I think we've missed a page here. Oh no, that's right. So consistency once a week, 20 minutes is achievable. Respond to your messages, remove your connections, report bad behaviour, always be positive. Do not get into a discussion online. I had somebody make a terrible comment, so I messaged him directly. Believe it or not, I had to get the police involved because he was a little bit distressed, and the police took care of it, and then he thanked me afterwards. But don't have those types of conversations online. Take them to direct messaging. I've already said that before. And be generous. The digital world is different to the old school world. So, you know, share what you know. One thing I love about being an early adopter of LinkedIn is the other early adopters of LinkedIn, we're all the same. We all share what we know. We're in groups. We share what we find. You know, we love helping one another out. Frequently asked questions, and also what to do from home, because I know there's a lot of us in New South Wales and Victoria who are working from home. So there's some tips there for what else you can do. Top 10 ways to manage your LinkedIn activity in 20 minutes a week. Is it achievable? I believe so. You log on and engage with the newsfeed for 8 minutes, check out your notifications for 2 minutes, look at your network requests for another 2 minutes, bookmark any important company pages that you want to engage with, and look through what they've been doing and engage with their content. Edit or update your own profile or settings, because we can always tweak a little here and there. Post an item in the newsfeed that you've either curated from somewhere else or created yourself, and then reflect on your statistics, activity and results, and make plans for what you might do next week. So they're all options. And if you're thinking about paying for ads, I do not pay for ads on LinkedIn. I never have. I've tried to set them up for various clients. It's been very difficult here in Australia because a lot of the target audience are not on LinkedIn. They're still in other platforms. But if you're thinking about it, I do have some guidelines as to what you should consider before you do pay for any advertising. A little bonus tip, what I recommend that you do monthly is complete any LinkedIn profile updates, adding any new roles, any new email addresses. You should never take an email address off your LinkedIn profile. You should always just add on new ones and make sure the primary one is correct. And any new connections, save a copy of your LinkedIn profile to PDF, particularly if you've done some updates. Get a copy of your data every 6 months, check all your back-end settings and menu options, double check that your strategies are still working for you. You might want to update them, and consider completing some additional professional development, or get your online presence checked or your strategy reviewed by a LinkedIn specialist. I'm very adamant also about website design. So if you've decided I'm going to update LinkedIn, I'm going to change my website, please read this article before you do. I don't want you to lose any Google search results by updating your website. So where to from here? Well, you can join me at some more events. I'm going to be speaking on maximising your social media platforms for Catholic schools. So you have to be part of a Catholic school. If you know someone who's part of a Catholic school and you think it might be useful, we're actually going to be looking at 4 different schools' use of LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. So it's going to be case study, it's 2 hours. It's going to be amazing, but it's designed specifically for Catholic schools. I'm also been helping Game Changer. I've run 2 events for them already, the LinkedIn Masterclass, LinkedIn Power Session. The next one's going to be on online and social media strategy, 2 hours on Saturday. It's free. You do have to attend live though if you want to see it, because the recording will only be available to members. And there's lots of other events that I'm speaking at. The ones that are run by the City of Boroondara are only available for residents and business owners in the City of Boroondara, which is here in Melbourne. But there's other events that, you know, I put on as I hear about them, and you can go to those. Don't forget to download your books for free, and feel free to share them with your clients. Just go to researchgate.net. But please ask your clients to download them directly, because then it counts as a read. I don't mind if they get it for free, but I do like, you know, the number of reads. I had over 2,000 reads of my books on ResearchGate, so that's kind of exciting. But if you want to say, so put in a lot of effort, I'm happy to pay a $10 a book, then you can buy them at 120ways.com. You can also follow or subscribe to me on social media, as I said at the beginning. And you can also book an appointment, 30 minutes, 1 hour or 2 hours. You can also have extended sessions beyond that. The rate goes down if we have continuous appointments. Finally, if you feel 121 people left, that this has been worthwhile, please say thank you. My recommendation formula is to say where you met me, so LinkedIn event, what you observed, you know, what was helpful to you. Wish me well, the best in the future, and put your name at the end of it. So you can add a review on Goodreads, on Google, on my own website, which you don't even have to log into. You can write a LinkedIn recommendation, or the easiest of all is to do a LinkedIn skills endorsement, which just says LinkedIn. You just tick it if you're connected to me. Very, very easy to do. So I'm now going to go back to the items in the chat. I've got 98 new messages. Oh my goodness. If you want to add feedback of what's been most helpful in the chat, I would love to read that as well. If you have to go, it is 2 o'clock exactly. Thank you for joining us. And now I shall plow through these questions. Rewatching the video at least 50 times. Good on Robert. This is the NFP company page overseas. Oh, employability, fantastic. Great work, Tamsin. Thank you, Karen. 3 dots, save the chat, yes. That's a good thing. Google theme webinar would be welcomed. Okay, thank you, Chris. We'll make that happen. Bot messages, oh, I hate bot messages. Oh, Toby, I'm with you on that. Pam, thank you for doing this. You're awesome. Oh, how nice, thank you. Delaney, thanks for such an insightful session, jam-packed with useful tips and valuable information. Looking forward to the presentation slides and the future sessions. I gotta go. Can we edit our company name? Yes, you can, Micah. Nice to see you from Newcomers Network days a long time ago. You can edit your company name. You can also edit your company URL. So let's say you started off as XYZ Coaching and now you decide to be XYZ Consulting. Yep, definitely can change it. And the best part is you keep all your followers. Okay, next one, the LinkedIn editor, LinkedIn makeover. Okay, right, thank you for sharing that. Just be aware with the LinkedIn user agreement, you are not allowed to automate anything. So please do not automate anything. Don't get a virtual assistant in another country to do your work for you. LinkedIn can tell by the IP address that they are not you. So you can have your account removed without warning. So again, if you haven't had your backup done, it can be a major loss. Reviews once written cannot be altered by you. Okay, reviews, once you've approved them, appear on your LinkedIn profile. Oh, once written cannot be altered by you. Not so sure, Social Selling Warrior, whether you mean the ones on the services page, but the ones, recommendations, can be removed. You know, perhaps there's been a falling out between you and the other person. You can remove them. Not sure about reviews. I haven't checked that. Thanks, Andrew. Really helpful. Much appreciated. Can you repeat what was said about Google reviews, please? Yes, Google reviews are absolutely worth having, because a lot of people, if they hear about you, they will Google you. Apparently, 75% of people will be Googled before a job interview. 95% before they're given an offer. So people do, check you out online. Now, let's say you didn't have a Google My Business profile, so you couldn't get Google reviews. If people can't find out that information, they may choose to go elsewhere. Secondly, if you have Google reviews, and I've managed after asking hundreds and hundreds of people to write me reviews, I've got 93 or 4 or 5 something reviews. So the good news is now if somebody writes me a bad review, there's still all those other really good reviews still there. So that's a good strategy. Great information from Costa Rica. Thank you, Kelly. The new reviews section. Oh, Karen's put a link to her reviews page. Thank you for that, Karen. We'll check that out later. Some more links to profiles. Our profile, Dean says, our profiler links subjects taken at school or TAFE and interest to industry clusters, pathways and occupations. Employment data was built as an extension of a project new to the market in July. Oh, thank you. That sounds fantastic. The other website that I recommend for people is myfuture.edu.au. You do need to register to access it. If you're in a state where they want to charge you, just use a Victorian postcode because there's no charge if you're registered in Victoria. But that gives you a lot of information about particular jobs, and you can look at those descriptions and look for keywords in there as well. Kirsten says invaluable. I now need to fix this. Yes, good. Thanks, Sue. Should you pay for social media ads? Yep. Got to go. Great action list. Yes, there's lots of action. So you'll get the most value out of this presentation if you do take action. Is there a way to allow attendees to connect to the virtual event in a similar way that the old turn on location functioning? Oh, Gabrielle, I so miss, when you just press the button and you could see everybody in the room. That was fabulous. Not really. I mean, what everybody could do is, and I have done this, is what you can all do is you can put up your QR code next to the screen. So if I put my QR code here, then each person could scan my QR code and connect. But as you can imagine, it's just going to take too long, depending on the size of your audience. It's not really realistic. So the best way is pop your link in the URL to your website or your LinkedIn profile in the chat, save the chat, and then connect with everybody afterwards that way. Facebook is far better for social media ads. Tamsin, it is if that is where your audience is. So for some of us, our audience is not really on Facebook, or finding them is a little bit trickier. Whereas for me, a lot of the people that I work with, I can attract them to me on LinkedIn. Great information, says Les. Thanks, Sue. Loved it. Thanks for sharing such valuable information. Sharon, that's useful and practical. Fabulous. Thank you. Kim, thank you so much, Sue. Got to go. Brilliant. Very useful. Jackie, great informative session. Look forward to the slides. Oh, by the way, I'm going to put the slides, the Word document, and the video recording on my website. So all I'll be sending is a link, and then you can go to the website and you can download whichever works for you, because sometimes emails don't get through. If I just put one link in an email, you should be able to get that. Laurie, great information, professional as always. Absolutely, Laurie. I wouldn't want to be any other way. And I do like providing value. Very impressive. Thank you, Rick from Adelaide. Nice to see you. Hina, thanks for the webinar. Anna, just been brilliant. Thank you. Jenny, fantastic advice. You are the master. Look, there are lots of masters around, and I'm in good company. And if we all share what we know, it helps everybody, because not everybody reaches everybody. So it's all good. Susan, wonderful, informative presentation. Alan, thank you. Oh, Alan, nice to see you. What else have we got here? 99 new messages. My goodness. Lots of thank yous. Thank you. Very impressive. Experience and knowledge is extensive. Well, I have been on LinkedIn since the 21st of December 2003. I'm member number 77832, and anybody who knows me knows that I'm very proud of that number. So I'm one of the first 80,000 people in the world on the platform, but I didn't officially start consulting on it until 2008, but even that's quite a long time ago now. Ali, this is amazing. Really appreciate all the tips. Thanks, Doug. Yes. Oh, okay. Live transcription be enabled. Good idea. Steph, thanks, Sue, really informative. Gina, amazing content. Champion of LinkedIn. Thank you. I should just do this for all the kudos. Hey, I should just run these events so everybody can say how brilliant I am. I could turn quite narcissistic, couldn't I? But yeah, I do try to make sure it's interesting. I spend many hours putting my presentations together, and every presentation I do, I update for that audience. So you might hear a few bits and pieces the same, but there will always be new things every time I run a session. That was, thanks, Sue, really good info. Lots of useful information from Tracy, Julian, for your time and insightful presentation. Yes, Micah, amazing. Thanks so much. Fantastic. Heidi, great advice. Clear, useful, practical. Thank you very much for your sage input. I only like to say things that will add value. There is no point in waffling. As a learning junkie myself, I hate it when they say 10 minutes to say one thing. Like, get on with it, folks. You know, tell us the juice. Yeah, we'll write a review. Thank you, Chris. Oh, I get so excited when I hear I'm going to get a review. Excellent webinar, high value. Thanks so much for that. It was great. Have another meeting. Been a great session. Full afternoon. Excellent investment of time. It's only an investment if you take action. Okay, so just remember, take action. The Word document, that will let you go through step by step. Click on the links, so on. I can be my 6,000th LinkedIn connection for Jason. Yoo-hoo! That will be fun. Very generous. Thank you, Jane. Fantastic, Pam. Very much, deeply useful. Great session. All right, I'm not going to read all those out. I'll just get to the questions. Pat. Oh, this is a nice comment from Linda. Many thanks for your effort for furthering the career development profession. Yes, it is important that we support our professions. Absolutely agree. How many connections can we make per day or per week? Toby, okay, not too many, because if you do, the LinkedIn algorithm is going to detect that you have been adding too many people, and that is not good. So I normally say 10 a day and 100 a week as a rough ballpark figure. However, I don't believe just connecting to a whole bunch of people is what's going to get you work. And I'll give you an example. There was a student of mine at the Centre for Adult Education, and she'd been an academic at a prestigious university in Melbourne, and she'd been there for 20 years. And what she was, because she was very good at her particular discipline, and she now wanted to help edit PhD papers. Now, the only people she needed to connect with on LinkedIn were people studying a PhD. They were the only people. Not everyone wants to have a PhD edited, but the people studying a PhD, and more specifically, studying a PhD in her area, they were the only people she needed to connect with. And if she connected to all of those people, she would eventually get work. But scarily, she spent $20,000 on a website, and that led to nothing. So if you know somebody who is starting out, please tell them to use LinkedIn first and a free Google My Business website. And then when they get business, get a website. And the first website should not be more than $3,000 for a basic brochure website. And it should be search engine optimized as well. And then when you get more work, then you can bet the better website. But you need to get clients before you go spending $20,000 on a website, which does not guarantee clients. Services page. Oh, anyway, wonderful and very enjoyable. Oh, that's good. If you post via a scheduler as opposed to natively, does the algorithm penalize you? Thank you, Candice. Great question. Now, I have heard that if you publish from a social media management tool, it is not as likely to go as far. But if that means you don't publish at all, well, use a tool, right? So I think it's always best if you can do it manually, but if you can't, you know, just get the scheduler, because at least stuff gets out on a regular basis. Brenda's been restricted. Where do I find this info, please? Not sure what you've been restricted on, Brenda. I'll make sure that you get a copy of the recording anyway. Just written you a 5-star Google review. Thank you, Ali. Well, that's exciting. Look forward to staying connected, reading your books and attending more sessions. You're an inspiration. Oh, thank you, Catherine. Thanks, generous sharing. My website is just sueellson.com, SUEELLSON.com. Get Rob to pop that in the chat for you. Thoughts on including your maiden name, Alex? Okay, Elson is my maiden name. I did get married and now I'm not married, and I do not want my married name on there. There's something about that relationship I want no recollection of, although my children's name is still that name. I do recommend it if you are well known for that name and people might search for you by that name. And one of my clients, she met up with a long lost boyfriend because, you know, she married the wrong man too. And he found her because her maiden name was on LinkedIn. So I guess it depends. Do you want to be found or not found for your maiden name? If you do, put it in. Need to go. So good to see you. Oh, thanks, Leonie. Best in everything you do. Keep up the dancing and poetry. Woo, yep. Bad dancing, but I'll keep at it. Fabulous, amazing. LinkedIn is set to, or already has capped the weekly limit for connection requests to 100 invitations. There you go. Well, that was just by bitter experience. I found 100 invitations works. Also, what LinkedIn will do is see the ratio of people who accept your invitation requests. So let's say you put out 100 and only 3 people said yes. LinkedIn's going to pretty quickly identify that you're a spammer. I would suggest you'd be better off to send out 10 invitations and get 9 people to connect is a much better statistic to have. So do your research and make sure the people you're connecting with are really aligned. Wix websites are very cost effective and easy to use. Melita, I definitely recommend any website rather than no website. So if it's Wix, if it's Weebly, if it's Squarespace, whatever, I don't mind. However, I do recommend WordPress. And the reason I recommend it is because there are templates which make it easier. You do need to add security plugins because WordPress websites can be hacked, but you don't have a monthly fee that just keeps going up. You just pay your hosting fee. And also, if you want to migrate your content to another platform, it's possible. Whereas something like Wix is proprietary, you can't migrate too many things. So there's plenty of things I could talk to about that. But if it's a Wix website or no website, get a Wix. Like, you know, absolutely agree. But I would recommend WordPress. Much cheaper than 3K. 3K is for the whole shebang. The hosting, the design, the text, the copy, the images, all the backwards and forwards, the hours of work, the SEO, you know, all of those bits and pieces. Unable to save the chat. Can I request a copy from someone who's saved a place? Okay, I'll pop a copy of the chat in the website as well. That'll be the easiest way to do that. What CRM do you recommend, Melita? Well, I have an embarrassing statement to make here. I do not have a CRM. Can you believe it? I know, it's disgusting. Who would have thought Sue Ellson does not have a CRM? I have done a number of webinars with Zoho, and I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with what they do. If you are going to choose a CRM, you need to make sure that whatever you purchase has multiple integrations. So it needs to be able to integrate with your mail program, with your invoicing program, with any other tools that you use. So that would be my number 1 criteria. I can hear somebody's unmuted. Did somebody else want to say something on that? No? But whatever it is, make sure you choose something with lots of integrations. Don't go for some freebie thing that nobody's ever heard of. You can't export the data and you're stuck with, you know, starting from square one later on. That's why whenever I do purchase something, I do quite a lot of research and I find out what is in most popular use. Because if it's in popular use, then there'll be experts who can help me with it. And I can Google most of the answers. So I choose popular programs. So they may not be the cheapest. They may have a fee, but I look for that. HubSpot CRM, yes, I have heard good things about HubSpot. HubSpot has amazing training, certifications, free courses, blog articles, you name it. HubSpot is an absolute champion in providing educational content, and it's easy to understand. Oh my goodness, so easy. And a great free CRM, yes. And then when you want to upgrade, you can upgrade later on. So that's another thing. If you can get a free version, check it out and upgrade later. But just make sure you've got integrations and you can export your data. They're the two main things. Also, any particular program you use, please make sure you only put one piece of content in each box, right? Don't put first name and last name together because you can't sort by first name and last name. Any box you have, only ever put one piece of information in it. That's the standard rule for any database or even spreadsheet. I think I've got to the end of the questions. Rob, have I missed any? You've been sort of sitting there thinking, she's taken over and run it herself.
The only one that I saw, somebody put something about putting a maiden name on LinkedIn. Yes,
I did answer that one.
Oh,
yes.
Did you? Okay, yeah. Cool.
Oh my goodness. Phew. And we got through all of that in an hour and 20 minutes. Can you believe it? Well, that's the questions in the chat. So now I'm happy for you to unmute or raise your hand with the little reactions button on your Zoom chat, and happy to chat personally. And bear in mind, this will be recorded, or at least the video will be recorded. Your names won't be shown on the screen though. Does anybody have a question, comment, anything else I'd like to ask? It's free.
All quiet.
All quiet. I must have given them enough information. What was, I think I missed the conversation about LinkedIn free versus premium. Could you briefly revisit? Absolutely, Linda. Okay, you must do everything I recommend first, right? There is no point paying for premium if you don't have a fully completed profile with all of your headlines and your recommendations and your stats and all that stuff happening. Then when you've done that and you know what you're going to use premium for, then you can do it. Now, the benefits of premium, you can see the last 90 days of people who've looked at you. They're all warm leads. If they've looked at you, they're interested in what you do. So you could follow up with those warm leads. You will appear higher in search results. You will have more searches that you can do. You have a little bit of prestige value. So if she's paying for premium, she must be able to afford it. So there's some prestige value. You can search beyond second level connections to third level connections. You get 15 in-mail messages, so you can message someone without being connected to them. Yeah, there's various little perks. But as I said, I used the free account right up until September last year. So yeah, you can definitely do that. Full name is Alexandra, however, everyone calls me Alex. Okay, Alex, my name is Suzanne, S-U-S-A-N-N-E. And when I went to high school, I decided everybody in primary school spelt it wrong. So from then on, I went to Sue because I got sick of everybody spelling it wrong. So it's entirely up to you, Alex. If it is part of, that's why you shorten yours as well. Yeah, you get Alexander. Oh my goodness, even worse. You have to think about, will anybody be searching for you as Alexandra, right? So if they're likely to search for you as Alexandra, then I'd put it in. If they're likely to search for you for Alex, you'll still appear in search results. So you don't need to worry that by putting Alexandra, you won't appear in search results. What I've seen some people do is put Alex as your first name and then put where the maiden name would normally be, Alexandra, and then the surname. So that way, most people can see you're Alex, But then they also see you're Alexandra, then they might identify that you're female if you choose to be listed as female. Yeah, lots of reasons. So entirely up to you. Just think about your purpose and what you're trying to achieve and who you want to find you. But the only time I use Suzanne now is on obviously legal, regulatory documents, driver's license, that sort of thing. So yeah, if anybody was looking for Suzanne Elson, I don't even know what would happen. I should probably Google that, shouldn't I? But yeah, I guess Sue Elson would turn up because I'm pretty well known for that. Yeah. Any final questions? Otherwise, we'll let you lovely people go. What about people who have a portfolio career and are balancing posting as an employee and self-employed? Okay. Well, I'm the queen of portfolio because I haven't had a real job since 1994. So I did have a contract that went for 6 months, but that's the longest I've stayed anywhere. Although I've got clients I've had for years, but we only do bits and bobs whenever it happens. So what you need to think about is your purpose. And do you want people to know about your side hustle first or your main gig first? And then whichever one it is, you list that first. So just to share my screen here, what you can do on your LinkedIn profile is you can sort the jobs. So obviously got lots of messages popping up here. Jobs will automatically appear in the date you started employment, right? But if you see, I call it the hamburger, it's 4 lines on the side of the screen. Sorry, it's just gone AWOL there. See if we can go down again. Okay, here we go. So if you hover over here, you'll sometimes see 4 lines, or you should see 4 lines. There it is, right? So that's my main gig, me self-employed. But if I wanted to put my job at the CAE first, I could just use that hamburger and drag it further up and list that first. So again, it depends on what the person's trying to achieve. But the 3 main things that people look at to decide whether they want to work with you are your photo, your headline, and the beginning of your summary. So whatever it is you want to be known for and found for, that's the main focus, and that's where that should be. Good question. How much is premium? Depends on whether you pay per month or per year. So if you pay per year, you get 1 month free. I think it's about $50 or $60 a month. So it's not cheap. If you were thinking about trying it, you do get 1 month free, but you have to give your credit card as soon as you join up. And it's like a gym membership. They don't care whether you turn up or not, they will charge you. So if you want to cancel it, you've got to turn it off. You can't say after the fact, but I haven't used my LinkedIn account for 3 months. Sorry, too bad, so sad, you've got to pay. So if you want the free month, you've got to diary it to cancel it at the end of that month. Yeah. $69.99 a month. Yeah, I think it's like 65 or 59 or something like that if you pay for 12 months. So yeah, unfortunately there's no real discount. They should give me a discount, I reckon, because I'm always helping people use LinkedIn more. So anyway, but no, look, I love LinkedIn. It's out of all the platforms, it's my favorite, but I would not survive in business if I did not have a website, if I did not have a Google My Business profile. So yeah, let's make the next workshop on Google My Business because it is, I deserve a referral bonus. Thanks, Melita. Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Look, they haven't deleted my account. I consider that to be a blessing. I sometimes think I'm right on the edge of, oh, will they delete me? But I think because they've seen me there for so long, they look at me kindly somehow. But look, I only post positive content, even the one about whether they should pay for social media ads. I thought, oh no, I'm touching on, standing on a tightrope here. No, it's still got my account, but I still do backups, just in the unlikely event that, they get shitty one day. Right, how are we going? Anything else? Or otherwise we shall wrap up. Thank you, Rob, for assisting.
My pleasure, Sue.
Did you
Anytime.
learn- Did you learn something new?
I did, about the review part as well as the recommendation. So there you go.
Yeah, excellent. Bye, Melita. Recommended web host. Yes, in Australia, ddns.com.au. They're based in Richmond. So it's an Australian server with Australian staff. And the best part is you can ring them on the telephone and talk to them. And if you talk really nicely, they just do stuff for you. It's so nice. Whereas they don't say, oh, well, you've got to look up at this help sheet and work it out yourself. Really, really good. It's just over $100 a year for one website and your email with your security certificate. So your website is at HTTPS. So definitely recommend them. Yeah. Thank you, Brenda. All right, I think that might be it. Rob, if you can just stay on the call. Farewell for the moment. Thanks again. Premium event. Thank you, Catherine. Lovely. And lovely to see so many faces I recognise. That's really, really nice.